welcome to this episode of The Renewed Mind. I am Lucy Imanet Aliyu as always, and today in this episode I have a very, very amazing personality, a sister, a friend, a coke lover, a dog lover, and she has many names. And well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't grabbed your popcorn yet, just go grab your popcorn and your chill cup in the stand, and let me introduce to you Dr. Well, you'll have her introduce herself. Welcome to the show. I'm not really sure I did justice to introducing you well.
You did just fine. And I'm Diana Moigbe, a newly qualified medical doctor. And also, yes, all glory to God. And also, I run a blog called The Trying Christian. And apart from being a blog, it's also an online gift store that sells Christian and scripture-themed gift items.
Okay, I think that's a good one. But tell us more about The Trying Christian.
Okay, so like I said, The Trying Christian is a blog. It's a
How did it
Christian
come
blog.
about? Like, you sleep one day and then you got to name.
It's actually funny. So in my final year of medical school last year, I was studying. And you know how when you're studying, you think about everything apart from what you're supposed to be focusing on in the first place. So I was studying and my mind went to Pinterest, my hands went to Pinterest. And I was scrolling. And you know, in Pinterest, I follow a lot of Christian bloggers. And usually they give free resources, and for me it's something I've always been interested in. So that day I just thought to myself, why don't I start a Christian blog? I mean, I'm always journaling things in my book, always journaling thoughts and ways of how I struggle and how I have my good days, I have my down days. So I make sure to struggle to journal these things down. And I have a bunch of different things on different topics. I actually wrote them down like I was going to publish them someday, even though I really had no.
The vision is what appointed.
You know, that is so true. So even though I never really thought about it or thought about getting my thoughts out there like that, I always loved writing, and by the grace of God, I believe that I'm good at it. But it never really occurred to me that I was going to put this out there someday. But anyway, yeah, I was studying, went to Pinterest, and then I just thought to myself, okay, let me think about doing something like this, like after medical school. So okay, in that moment, I wish I can tell you that okay, I decided to pray and fast about a name, but or maybe I wrote like a bunch of names down. But honestly, I didn't even think about a second name. There was no second name. Immediately it came to me, The Trying Christian, and I wrote it down. If you see the book that was in front of me that day, I wish I had kept it. Or the paper that was in front of me that day, I wish I had kept it. You see that the only thing that's written here is The Trying Christian. Immediately, it was just like God just showed me immediately. There was no need for long conversations. There was no need for wasting time. I just knew that it was going to be The Trying Christian. Because where I am currently, or where I've been for the longest time, is really just trying to work on my relationship with God. And as I try, there are days that I'm really thriving. There are days you just know you made God proud. You just feel it like you you've made God proud. That if the trumpet sounds today of your front in line,
you don't sound.
But then there are days when you yourself, you know how it is. So really, it's been like that for me. So basically, the one word that just really describes my entire faith journey has been trying. The one thing that I've always been happy about is that I never stopped trying. There's never been this lack of yearning in my heart for God. That even on days when I was doing the opposite of what I knew God wanted me to do, or living in a way I know God didn't want me to live, I know that deep in my heart there was still this yearning, there was still this want to get closer to God. It was just so difficult. So that was how the name came about, and initially I was just going to publish it after after my results came out. But basically, in those few days after I thought of the idea, the goal was to talk to people about it, get their thoughts. But you know, this thing just came to me. that you don't always have to consult people when God puts a vision in your heart. And ironically, I attend this online service that Lucy also attends.
Yes, it's called Online with Jesus.
Please check us out on Clubhouse, Online with Jesus. We meet every Sunday at 5 a.m. Yes, 5 a.m. But it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it.
I mean, it's really good.
So Pastor Ivan spoke about there's a time when Paul received his calling, and he mentioned that he didn't go and tell everyone or ask for permission or consult, and he just really
mind how you persecuted the church.
And Pastor Ivan explained that there are times when you receive college, you don't need to go and consult everyone. And honestly, one thing about the Tribe Christian, which is so unlike me, because for me, I'm one of those people when I have an idea, I have to share with my friends. I have to involve my friends, not just share with them, but I have to involve my friends because I don't have a lot of friends, but I love the ones I have so much that I always want them to be a part of what I'm doing. So I want to share with them and just run it by them and everything. But in this particular instance, I didn't even think about that, honestly. And not long after, I think a day after the thoughts came to my mind, I searched how to make websites. 2 days later, I paid for my website. It was published. The Tribe Christian was published way before I even shared it with anyone that I was going to do this. So I started it, and it's just bloomed really by grace from there.
Yeah, you can see that. I mean, it's more of God's grace that has engulfed it. So most of the time we tend to want to seek validation from people. I'm guilty of that. When I have an idea about something, I want to know what's that opinion, and I want to know if I should really, if this is really, really, really what I should do.
There's nothing wrong with seeking counsel.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But then
up.
sometimes when God wants you to do something, He really wants you to do it. And another thing that came to my mind one of these days was that I was also trying to get things perfect before starting this video. I wanted to have everything, perfect before I could even go. But then it just in my mind that you don't really have to. You have basic. Even if you have just spoon,
sometimes
just go and find it. Yeah. Maybe you just see someone who's eating there, so you didn't really need plates to find food. You just needed that spoon to go and meet someone who is eating, and then you guys will eat together. So, but Diana, how would you define life, or should I say the Christian life?
I'll defend my own Christian life. Like I said, it's trying. So I think one thing we as Christians need to always have in mind is that we need to always have this yearning for God. If you don't have it, you need to pray for it. You need to want to know God. I feel like we've gotten to this point in Christianity where the guilt is even gone. If you don't pray for the day, it's just okay. Everything. I saw there's this quotes that I've been needing to share on the Tribe Christian, but somehow maybe God just wanted me to say it first here. There's this quote, I wish I had put it in my phone before, so I can't really quote it exactly. But it says, beware of sin. First you commit it, then you justify it, and soon you'll be boasting about it. And that is so accurate, and it's just where we are for a lot of us. We've normalized sin, we've normalized nonsense, basically. We've gotten to this point where people have lost that sense of guilt.
Yeah.
The one thing King David, one of the reasons why he was called a man after God's own heart was that David will do the very worst thing, but immediately after, his conscience will beat him up and he'll come back to repent. Now, we as Christians, a lot of us, we've lost that. A Christian will go out and fornicate, and the only thing that will be bothering them is will I get pregnant.
It's not like fornication is anything bad.
You see, so that is the only thing. There's no part of you that thinks, okay.
Everyone is doing so many of us think everyone is doing it,
so it's fine.
Why should it die?
So we've really lost the conviction of guilt. We've lost the yearning to be with God, to please God. And sometimes God needs to see these things. God sees our hearts.
Yeah.
So God needs to see that there's this yearning for Him. James 4 verse 18, draw close to me and I will draw close to you. So God didn't say, you should just keep drawing and coming and coming and I'm going to stay where I am. And when I stay where I am, you'll eventually find your way to me. That's not what God is saying. God is saying, draw. So He's willing to meet you halfway.
Yeah.
He's willing to do do something. He's willing to make a move, you know. But we need to have that yearning. We need to have that want to draw close
and
to
you
him.
can pray about it. Like you can really pray about it.
Exactly. And that's one thing, you know, that's something I also wanted to release a blog post about. I feel like for Christians now, when we hear this Matthew 7:7, ask and it shall be given unto you. We're busy asking for a husband.
We just want to misuse
children, wife. We're asking for a new car, that new job, that scholarship, that
using God.
That's what we keep asking God for. When last did you ask God, please strengthen me spiritually? Please draw me closer to you. Please put a burning in my heart for you. Honestly, I asked God for these things and it came. Now there's a burning desire for me to read my Bible. There's a burning desire for me to pray. I do not feel comfortable if a day goes by and I didn't even read a verse. Apart from the work I have to do for TTC, the Shrine Christian, I don't feel comfortable if I don't read my Devo. If I force myself to go to sleep without reading my Bible, I go to sleep with guilt. I wake up in sadness because I know that there's something I have done, I should have done that I didn't do. And I prayed for that. I really prayed for that because I knew where I wanted to be with God. And I really prayed for him to give me the strength. And one of my biggest prayers right now is that may I never go back to where God has taken me from. So it's so important for you to be intentional about praying for what you want, and that includes your spiritual life. Pray about it.
And this is basically an evidence of ask and you shall receive.
Exactly.
So if you ask, there's nothing. God has said it. There's nothing you ask for that I won't give. I mean, you just ask according to my will. Just ask according to the things you know that I will do. Don't be. I mean, sometimes we're not even realistic with God. Some of us single ladies will be like, God, I need a man who is handsome, six-pack,
tall.
Yes, tall, has red lips, cute. What is it again? Fair and what?
But also godly, spiritual, goes to church every
Like you want to
Sunday.
touch up the video and what? I don't know. I think I have the.
Yes,
normally says you want to touch up the video in Joseph. So it doesn't work that way. We have to be realistic. And the thing is, when you come, I've had so many struggles, and I have so many challenges, many issues that I battled with, that I prayed to God to help me to let go of those things, that I will be sharing as time goes on. Because I think people have to, I don't even think, I know people will learn from it, because there are so many of us going through battles that we don't talk about, that we don't share.
And you're definitely not alone.
Yeah, so you should know that you're not alone, and I mean, as time goes on, we'll be talking about these issues. And one thing I realized that when I prayed about it, change comes with acceptance. Like, you really have to accept that.
Change is needed.
Exactly, like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of always sleeping around with different women every now and then. I'm tired of lying. I'm tired of so many other things.
So that's where the conviction comes in, and
Yes.
we need to have that conviction. There has to be some sense of guilt that you're in a place where you know God doesn't want you to be. You're in a place where you're not proud of yourself spiritually. So there has to be the want to change. There has to be that yearning that when you do something wrong, you need to be forced, to be compelled to come to God in prayer and ask for forgiveness.
Exactly.
And after forgiveness, make a change in your
intentional. Be
behavior.
intentional about wanting to change. Then you work on it, like Diana said. Now she's praying that she never goes back to where she came from, and that she's been intentional about always trying to read the Bible. I remember having a conversation to be like, I mean, there are days that I don't read my Bible, not because I really don't want to do it or maybe I forget, but he's constantly reminding me to do it. And so if I happen not to do it, I'll be like, I messed up, or I beg, just continue to remind me, because I don't want to grieve the Holy Spirit. I don't want to come to that point where it just switches off on me again. You know, I've been there before, so I know how it feels like. And at this moment, I can't afford it. So I'm tired, and now you have this. I mean, what is one crazy thing that has happened in this year recently?
To be honest, I'll tell you about the Shrine Christian and how things have been going for me. When I tell you it has been by grace, I mean it. There are days when I think to myself, where would I get content from? I mean, yes, I'm getting content from the Bible, but at the same time, you think, okay, maybe ideas won't come. Maybe this isn't something I used to do. I didn't used to post all these things on social media. Every day there's just inspiration. Fresh inspiration comes. I have like over 100 topics listed down in my book. I just have to get to them. I make plans for the week. I follow them. Thoughts about making playlists, names of God, Bible stories. Every day there's God just enlightens me. And I can give you an example, and there are people who will listen to this and testify and say that this really did happen. There are days when I will send something out, and someone will send me a message and say, this has been happening to me. And it's like God just used you to send this particular thing. There's a particular day, I think that was a month ago. Every Sunday I usually send maybe like a little message where I say more than I usually say during the week. So that particular Sunday, you're having one of these down days and you don't want to do anything. I came from church, I just left the whole place. And I said, if I don't send a message today, will people die? Will the trying Christian end because of this?
Those are the days.
Say what you may about the devil, but that man works full time.
He does.
So that day I just thought to myself, okay, it's going to, let me just leave it. So I didn't send anything. It was until I didn't slept. So I woke up by 5 and I'm like, no, Satan, not today. I am sending something. So I went to my phone and I was going to write on something. I think I was going to write on evangelism or something that particular Sunday. But somehow my mind just went away from it. And I decided to send Jehovah, the name of God series. Jehovah Suri, the Lord my rock. I think that was, I can't remember exactly what I said, I'm sorry. But that was what happened. So it was a last minute decision to change to that. And I sent it out. And this friend of mine sent me a message that she's been having a very off day. She's just been down the entire day. She doesn't know what's wrong. She's been just moody and everything. And then she saw my message, which I gave a Bible verse in it, which moved her to go and read. And she's been reading, and all of a sudden she's just in the mood of worship. And her mind is just renewed, and she's just happy. And that day, tears came to my eyes and like, so if I hadn't sent something, and even if it's just one person that is touched, that one person is more than good. Because even Jesus leaves the 99 to save that one. So one is so very important. Trust me, if anything, if you want to, if God has led you to do anything or shown you to do anything, and you're thinking, how many people will this touch? Will this make a difference? Let me tell you, even if it's one person, whose lives will be changed, like that, just do it. It is worth it, because you don't know who that one person will eventually do. You don't know, what that one person will eventually do, what that one person will eventually accomplish. A lot of these great men of God, we didn't really hear the story of the one person that brought them to Jesus. But imagine the people whose lives they have changed. Exactly. So at the end of the day, all these blessings, they go back to that one person maybe that made that difference.
In the Bible says, there's rejoicing in heaven over one soul. Just one. I mean, it's not two, just one. So imagine how much impact that would have. And I've had testimonies like that also, where on some days, like I have this series that I'm doing, the mindset series. I'm just constantly writing about fears, about the battles of life. And then days that I really don't feel like sending that, I feel like, but even if I send this out, I'm not even sure anyone will benefit from it. I'm not even sure. And then days like that, someone will just come like, this thing we just sent now, it touched me. Like, this is what I'm dealing with.
And it's the best.
Seriously. And so even if sometimes when I don't want to post, it just motivates me. And then there was another time someone just sent me a message that we need to talk. I feel like it was business. So when I was supposed to talk, I feel like business or money or something. So I was like, okay, let's talk when you want to talk. And we talked. She called me. And she talked. I was like, She said, I read your post on Facebook and this and that and that and that and this has been my struggle. And we talked for a long time. And I was like, God, you're doing this for me, like you're using me like this. Seriously, and for me, it's not even him using this. Like how he just uses the whole situation to shame, to bring to light to one particular person and things like that. I mean, it's really amazing who God is. Anyways, it's awesome.
And there's one thing I always say: do not underestimate what God can do for you and what He can use you to do for someone else. Like, there is no person, no one person that God cannot use, and you do not even know your potential. So if there's something in your heart that God has been putting in your heart, it's persistently there, and you're telling yourself, would I be able to do this? See, that's how the devil works. He brings doubts. He brings, I was listening to the podcast you guys told me about, breakfast, Bible before breakfast today, and what Pastor Mildred said, Bible before breakfast, it's amazing, short and straight to the point. So one thing she mentioned today was how what the devil does is that he brings doubts in your mind. See, the devil, with all his antics, he's really powerless. The best he can do is use you against you.
Exactly.
That's really the best he can do. So he's going to mess with your mind. He's going to give you doubts. He's going to make you doubt yourself. He's going to make you doubt God. Because when you doubt yourself, by extension, you're doubting God. You're saying, God cannot use me. Who do you think you are that God cannot use?
The Creator.
Can you imagine? Who do you think you are? Do you know what Paul did? Have you persecuted Christians? You've not persecuted Christians. You've not even done anything.
And just think about someone who made water. Just think about someone who made wind.
It's nothing from him. So do not doubt all God is able to do for you. Do not doubt all what God is able to do through you. So keep that in mind and know that the devil uses doubts to just limit you. The devil uses doubts to keep you in mediocrity. The devil uses self-doubt and doubt of God because that is the best he can do.
He wants to belittle God.
Exactly.
That's all he tries to do, to belittle. He sees God as his competition. God is his competition.
Exactly.
That's so he's only, and it really hates us. So for me, that's constant thoughts that the devil is on a revenge battle is always something that keeps me like, you can't come and win. I mean, this is who we have to die there, we'll go to heaven and you go to hell eventually. So let's just go for a quick break because I have to check our chats and see